I don't know if any of you have held gold bars or silver bars. It feels so good. You feel wealthy. It just gives you a good feeling, you know, and if you could do that on top of what you're doing already, then it's a good thing, and that's why I want to show the training about where to get gold from, where to get silver from, how to test it. We know what the prices are. I can show you where to get the prices are so that you know how to do it. We've got the templates as well, because that's what we used to do in 2007. We used to run gold businesses. We used to do gold parties. That's what they called them back then. And it is an amazing feeling. You see scrap gold, but this scrap gold is worth something. And the people that have come to the house, they've come to sell their jewelry, and they're happy as well. You make sure you give a receipt. You don't just give them the money and take the jewelry. You make sure you give them the receipt, and you make sure that they sign to say that they own that piece of jewelry. Okay, because we're not here for someone to try and bring. That's why it's good to do it at a friend's, someone that is going to invite their friends or their relatives, for example, because it's going to be okay, for example. But you give a receipt and they sign to say that it belongs to them and they have the right to sell that jewelry. So you've got nothing that can come back on you. So can you imagine, right, within say, if you're running a gold party every month, right, and I'm sure that we can find friends, for example, that can hold these gold parties, for example. I can even show you how to do it at an event, for example, but that's part of the training that we do. But I want to be able to show you as well, so that you're learning how to do these things. But imagine, month 3, because you've, got scrap gold from eBay. There's all these different platforms that you can get scrap gold from. There's the dealers, there's the pawn shops, for example. There's the host parties that you do, for example. And you're getting these gold bars like every 3 months, and you haven't spent much, but you've also got them at 30% discounted price. eBay's, they do auctions, but I'm referring to the gold parties, for example. So it is a really good business. A gold and silver, holding gold and silver parties, or you go to someone's house and they host it. It is a very good business. People want money. And also friends like to meet up and, have fun. Once a month, you pick different people, for example, and then they bring people to their house, and then sometimes you've got 20, 30 people, and one by one, you're there for about 3 hours. It's not like you're in and out. Believe me, you're there for like 3-4 hours. So you'll arrive possibly at 7, 8 o'clock, and you could be there till 11, sometimes midnight. But it is worth it. It's a Friday night or a Saturday. It is well worth it. You could do it on a Friday at one person's house, a Saturday at another person's house. It depends really how aggressive you want to be with it, with this gold party business, for example. But there's so many avenues out there. It's not just where you're buying them online, that you can build your portfolio in so many different ways. And imagine that you especially the parties that you do, and you get like 30% less than what you would have paid if you brought it online, a gold coin, for example. Yes, you've got to pay a refinery to melt down your silver or gold, or smelt it down, for example. But it's only a small percentage, very small percentage. So it is a win-win situation. You got it at the reduced price, 30-40% sometimes. If something's really broken but it's gold, it's still worth something, isn't it? So by getting a refinery company to do it, a reputable one, and I'll be going through that, depends where you are in the world, then you can easily within 3 months have quite a few gold bars and silver bars. Depends how many parties you decide to do. Because you imagine you've got 10-20 people at a party, a gold party, which used to happen years ago, for example, then you will quite easily build up your gold reserve, your gold wealth building strategy, or silver strategy, whichever way you decide to go. But look at this as a long term, not a quick get rich scheme. You got to build on that 5 years, 10 years. And imagine, like I did the video yesterday, that you can get 400,000, for example, in 5 years with a clear strategy. But imagine what that gold will be in 5 years. Not the same price that you paid for 5 years prior. Plus, you brought it at 30% less. Then you can then use it and sell it for good, for gold. You can use it for putting down on a house, for example, or you can give it for a child for their future, so they haven't got to be stressing out about getting a massive mortgage. Imagine you give a child a gold bar or 3 gold bars. What would that be worth when that child is 25, when they finish college? What would that be worth? And then they're able to get their own place without dipping into your money, should I say. Or you can pay for their university, or you've got your pension. You can travel, you can do things, you can enjoy and not live check to check. You want to live beyond that. You've worked so hard. Why shouldn't you be able to do that and live where you want to live? So think about what your strategy is, your wealth building strategy is going to be, because I'm here to talk about, wealth building portfolios, building a wealth building portfolio. The easiest way and the cheapest way, as well as you can do it the other ways. It depends what money you've got available. But I tell you what, even if you have got money, why would you not look at that aspect? Especially if you know people. I'm sure we all know a lot of people, for example. I used to do adverts as well. I used to do adverts in the paper. I used to go to the barracks with the Navy wives, and we do gold parties. They literally allowed me to use the village hall. I would go round to markets, for example, and see what jewelry that there was for sale, second-hand jewelry. And then I would haggle. There's so many different ways that you can do things. And everyone's happy. No one's been ripped off or anything like that. They've received what the broken jewelry is worth. It was no good to them. It was just sat in a jewelry box, not doing anything. Whereas they were able to perhaps purchase something, treat themselves to something. Maybe a pamper day, or some flowers, or a new pair of earrings, with the broken jewelry that they've handed over. There's so many different ways that you can create wealth through gold and silver, especially scrap gold and silver. You can buy them on eBay, do the auctions. We all know eBay, don't we? And I know sometimes the price can be really high, but you don't go for that. You go for the lower ones. You watch and you're there. So there is lots of different ways. I would put an advert in the paper looking for scrap jewelry. This is my number. Give me a call. If you do it online, if you do an advert online, how are you going to go and meet that person? So that's why when you do your advert, try and do it local so that you can at least get to the person, see it, test it there and then. That way you're not going to have any problems if they send you something and then it's like, oh, hang on a minute,